Claude skills are completely changing how I create social media content, and ignoring it in my personal brand was the biggest mistake I've made. Before Claude, content used to feel exhausting and consume 11 plus hours of my week, but what if you could build a full content team that writes content, researches your ICP, designs visual assets, and analyzes data without sacrificing your authenticity? All working together so you can build your personal brand without it consuming your week. Well, 6 weeks ago, I decided to start building towards this with Claude. And today I'm building 5 Claude skills for automating 80% of my social media content without constantly prompting and having 10 plus chats open. And I'm sharing them with you today so you can build them with me. So let's get into it. So I firstly want to jump into skills versus projects, because this is something that really confused me at the beginning when I started using Claude. Projects are good for storing references, instructions, and data, but it's not so good for actually creating things with Claude. And this is exactly where Claude skills come in, because this trains AI to complete a very specific task that does it automatically. All you have to do is put in one prompt into Claude and it automatically does the tasks that you want it to in the exact way that you want to do it. And this is why Claude skills are so powerful when it comes to actually creating things and getting better workflows with Claude. Skill 1, content writer. Writing content doesn't have to feel overwhelming. Imagine writing without writer's block and spending hours of your day writing content. This is exactly what the content writer skill does. It allows you to write content in minutes, not hours. So let's jump into how this actually works. You need 3 things for this to work. You need a writing framework that you can use Notebook LM to create this. You also need your ICP, so Claude actually understands who it is that you're speaking to, and you also need brand guidelines, so it knows your tone of voice and certain guidelines for your brand. This was an example of a LinkedIn post that I did that Claude created. I made a few edits to it, but I posted on LinkedIn and it did pretty well. And this was the prompt that I used to create this LinkedIn writer that you can copy for a platform-specific writer. Skill 2, content planner. This allows you to plan 1 week of content in about 15 minutes. Not knowing what to post as a creator is the worst feeling. You sit down, ready to plan your week, and you're staring at a blank content calendar, completely overwhelmed with what you're actually going to post next week. This skill solves that by planning your 1 week of content for you without losing your authenticity. And here's how. You're firstly going to need 5 things. So you're going to need your ICP, your brand guidelines, a platform specific content strategy, your brand narrative, and your topic pillars. And with these things, these are going to be the foundation for this skill, because it's going to pull data from these things to create your 1 week of content for a specific platform. And so this was a prompt that I used to create my content planner. So you can go ahead and model this, change it as you like, but feel free to use it. Skill 3, carousel builder. Repurposing content manually completely sucks. This does it for you by taking your long form content and turning it into a carousel. So this could be a YouTube script, a newsletter, or even a blog. And I used to spend hours building carousels, but this honestly does it in about 5 minutes. And you only need about 4 things to actually set this up. This would be your ICP, a carousel framework, your brand guidelines, and a carousel design style. Now, for prompting the Claude to actually create this was the prompt that I used to build this skill that you can go ahead and model, change as you like, and use. Skill 4, audience researcher. Your best content lives where your audience does, and that place for many of us is a Reddit community. This is where unfiltered conversations happen directly from your ideal follower. This skill extracts that data weekly for you to use for content ideas. So this could be their problems, their questions, their desires, and even their how-to requests. And it puts it into a clean report that you can use weekly and create actual content ideas from this. And you simply just need 2 tools to actually set this up. This would be Claude and Apify. And you just want to connect them together gather a list of Reddit communities related to your niche and your space and what you're talking about, and simply prompt Claude to scrape this with the Reddit scraper inside of Apify. And this was the prompt that I used that you can go ahead, model, use. The last skill, skill 5, hook rider. Your hook is about 80% of your content, and if you get it wrong, you're pretty much asking for people to ignore you. It's what actually earns the attention of the viewer. And setting this up is actually really simple. So you just need two things, your ICP and a hook writing formula. So again, you can do this inside of Notebook LM. You can just go ahead and get the best sources of how to write great hooks and just ask Notebook LM to create a formula or framework that AI can use for writing quality hooks. And then once you have this hook writing formula, you can go ahead and build a skill using Claude and just call it hook writer. And when you have a content idea, you can simply just give your piece of content to this skill and just say, write a hook for me, and it'll go ahead and use the hook writing formula and your ICP to create a hook that not only grabs attention, but grabs the attention of your ideal follower. But that's it. That is the 5 Claude skills that I'm currently building to automate 80% of my social media content. But if you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to follow me as I build my personal brand and share AI tools and strategies that are helping me do this, then go ahead and subscribe and follow along with me as you're building yours. But thank you for watching.